everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting. We're a little late. We ran a little long. I was over on John's channel, John's Comics with Friends, doing some book talking with John and Bearded Comic Bro and Big O. So, hey, we bumped this back so I could do that other stream, and then we ended up running a little long anyway. And so I apologize for being a couple minutes late, but I hope you're all doing well. Yes, I was, who is this guy? I don't know, but he was late. I don't know why. Somebody made him late, I think. I'm not even going to bother clicking on that lasso. That comment does not. You can be, but no. And coming up very soon, hey, Nerdy, what's going on, sir? Coming up very soon, though, we will be talking that horrible, horrible character over on John's channel. I had to break out the Omni that I won from John last year. During the Omni X-Men and read 201, I believe not this week, but the next Tuesday, February 3rd, I will not be on this guy's channel. I will be on No Good Comics channel because I think that's who's hosting. But we'll be talking a little Cyclops. And so that'll be coming up. So that should be on the stuff coming up. But yeah, we'll be doing that. So yeah, what are we drinking tonight? I'm still sipping what I was sipping over on John's channel, a little holiday soft red wheat, the Rick House proof. So what is this? This is 120.1 proof. So yeah, some good stuff here. We got some good stuff tonight. I do have the Savage Omni. It's over there. So it is over there. John will soon have one, so yes, so that's good. You gave us another Omni that we can read and discuss, so which is always a good thing. Because John and I didn't have it last year. We worked through the majority of the overlap we have. We still have a little bit of overlap in terms of Omnis that we both have, but we did work through the majority of it last year. So yeah, so you help keep us at least one more show. We're going to talk a little bit about things I'm going to read. Here, let's go through that. That's kind of my theme for tonight. If you notice my thumbnail, we will get there. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up on the channel. This last week, I did a indie show for the first time in not almost a year, but 8 or 9 months, a long time. I talked to Old Guard, all 3 volumes with my man Daymers. And that is, so Daymers and I talked about that on Wednesday night. On Thursday, I put out a Let's Collect that was on The Question, both the Vic Savage and Renee Montoya. So there's a new Let's Collect that just came out this week. Obviously, the Look Back came out this morning. So those are the things kind of from this last week that you guys can catch up on if you haven't seen them. Tomorrow night, I'll be hanging out over at earlier tonight, I was hanging out on this guy's channel. We were talking a little Sarah J. Maas, The Assassin's Blade. So we were, after like 10 months, we put off doing the next book, and that series just hadn't happened. So we finally talked that book. Hopefully we'll get back into a little more regular schedule of talking some of those books over there with John and Big O and Greg. And then tomorrow night, I'll be on his channel again, playing some D&D. Monday night, be a little cash or trash this week with my man Circumstances. And then later this week, my pre-record will be the 4-year look back at the end of the month. We always do the 4-year look back, so we'll be looking back at January of 2022. And then we'll be talking the next Gotham City Chronicles will be this week, and we'll be talking Poison Ivy volume 3 and 4. So we did the first 12 issues. We'll be doing 13 through 24, which is volumes 3 and 4 of the current run. And I believe Kavi and I will be joined by this guy again. At least that is the plan. So that'll be this week too. So those are the things coming up on the channel. Yeah, for the next few days, next week or so. So that is what we got going on there. What do we pick up this week? There we go. What do we pick up this week? Not a whole lot, but we did actually have some stuff come in. I actually made 2 trade orders. One from Inside Crates has not come in yet, And then one actually, like some of the trades I was looking at were actually cheaper on Amazon, which is rare, but they were. So I do have a few trades that I picked up. One of which is I picked up another Omni. One of the Omnis John and I did last fall. I forget exactly when we did it. We did The New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis, and I picked up volume 2, which is 32 through 64 plus the miscellaneous. So I did pick up volume 2 of that Omni so I can read the rest of his run on The New Avengers. So I grabbed that. My in-stock stuff will probably be another week or so before it comes in. They're a little slower. And then I picked up, so I mentioned, and we're going to go through a little bit of a discussion on it here in a minute later in the show, but I mentioned that I did Old Guard. I brought back the indie show. And I have a pretty good stack of indies that I need to get through, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, how I'm going to bring that show back and that kind of thing. But I picked up some indie trades as well, one of which was I picked up the deluxe edition of Old Guard. I enjoyed it enough. I decided I wanted a hardcover copy. The result of that is, you guys, the January giveaway for the channel will be the 2 trade paperbacks, of the series, as well as an Old Guard #1. I did not dig that out. So that'll be the January giveaway for my channel members. I should shout them out while I'm thinking about it so I don't forget later. Big shout out to all of these folks. They will be up for getting that, as well as Daymares did set everyone up for the Batman and Robin Year 1. So that'll also be given away here next Saturday. We'll be giving all those away. So, but I did grab the hardcover. So of Old Guard, I enjoyed it enough. I decided to grab that. But I also grabbed some additional stuff that we're going to read. One that had been on my list for a while. I grabbed the deluxe edition that collected both volumes of The Good Asian by Shote? I don't know how you pronounce that name. I've heard really good things about this. It had been on my list for a while to read. So that's going to be one. I'm hoping to do, well, we'll get into that. And then I also picked up that came from a series that I had wanted to read for a while that had a ton of buzz when it first came out. And then as it went along, I think it kind of faded a little bit, but I think that's pretty typical, even if the story is pretty good. But I'm a big fan in general of Kieran Gillen. I'm a huge fan of Dan Moore art. So I grabbed both volume deluxe editions of Once and Future. So yeah, I figured if nothing else, the writing ought to be pretty good. The art's going to be fantastic. And yeah, I think this is really kind of where Dan Mora became Dan Mora before. Like, obviously he's been on some DC stuff, like World's Finest and that kind of stuff. But I think this was really his first big thing that I feel like I remember hearing him on. So we added a bunch of Future to our list of things that we're going to try to read. And so those were my pickups this week. And so before I get into my other categories, I think I'm just going to talk a little bit about the indie show. It kind of died last year after start of season 6, what I called season 6. It kind of died. I'd been doing it where we do a volume. Originally, when I started doing it, we'd do 2 or 3 volumes at a time. And then it got to the point where we were doing like a volume with everybody. And I was trying to do it almost weekly, at least one series, or bi-weekly. And I was trying to have 3 or 4 people show up and trying to schedule a night of the week. And it just burned me out. I just got burned out. And I really didn't read hardly any indie comics last year as a result. I just didn't get through a ton of stuff, especially once you got to like summer into the fall. And so I brought it back here this week. I did Old Guard. Originally, Daymares and Big O and maybe even Circumstances were going to join me. It ended up just being Daymares, and that's just kind of how I'm going to do it at this point. I'm going to grab some folks. I'm going to try to grab 1 or 2 people. If they can make it, great. If they can't, hopefully I'll have at least one person to talk about it before I go live, but I'm going to try to read 1 to 2 indies a month, probably at least one. And I'm going to, when I say that, I'll be like, I'm going to read like all of this in a month and then talk about it with somebody. So like Once in Future will literally be like 2 discussions that I'll do at some point. And The Good Asian will be 1 discussion at some point. So those are going into my stack. Some other stuff that I have in my stack that are going to be coming up. Like I have the 2nd deluxe edition of Philadelphia that I've had sitting for a little while on my shelf. John and Daryl read your comics, and Justin all join me for this one. I will probably throw it open to them at some point here in the next couple months. See who can make it, who can't, and we'll do it. And I'm going to be just more casual about it. Same thing with, I have the book 16 of Fables that the Buckingham came back, or Willingham and Buckingham came back and did more Fables. And after we'd kind of finished that series with me and Unruly and John and Sharon and Rena. So I'll throw it open to them if they want to join me and read volume 16 sometime in the next few months this year at some point, hopefully. I have the 2nd deluxe edition of Something is Killing the Children. Now, I've read and we've discussed volumes 4 and 5. So only the 3rd volume of this has not been discussed on my channel. So we'll probably just do the last part of this. But I think that was Kavi and Kachung and Delphia, who I haven't seen in forever. So we'll see who joins me for that. I got I think we've done through volume 8 of Monstrous. So we got to do that. This has volume 9 in it. Rare Flavors is one that I got to do. This is probably going to be maybe what I do in February. So I was going to say that the last time was silly. At some point, I'm finally going to read Department of Truth. I've had those 3 volumes for forever. And Local Man. These are all in my stack. I got a couple more coming that are in my in-stock trades order. If you're one of the folks that have done these kind of things with me or interested in talking about a comic, one of these that I'm showing here, I think the next 2 on my list are going to be these 2. I think I'm going to try to do Rare Flavors in February and maybe something else. We'll see because it's so small. And then maybe shoot for like Local Man. See if I know John's a big Local Man fan. Maybe shoot for that in like March. We'll see. He clearly has left because he didn't go Local Man. We got Nerdy Comic Geeks been enjoying Ghost Pepper. It's a nice post-apocalyptic future with an anime vibe. Issue 1 is a little rough. A lot of exposition. Okay. So anyway, the point of all of that is showing off all of those in my stack of unread indies. It's really just that I'm going to try to get back into it. And I'm going to try to get through a bunch of them. I don't know, trying to get through at least 1 a month and just get back to doing the indie show at a much more casual pace. Hopefully have at least 1 person that's interested in joining me for it. And I may just create all the folks that have been on my indie show and maybe a few others that haven't gotten a chance yet and just be like, hey, I'm reading this, who's in? First couple people that can do it or in that want to. But just trying to be a little more casual about it. I'd like to have at least somebody to talk about it with me, but trying to make it more relaxed on me in terms of scheduling and that kind of thing. But I want to get back to reading indies, and if I can't get somebody for something, then I will do a read. I'll do it on my own and do maybe a pre-record where I talk about it. So, but yeah, we're gonna try to get through some stuff and get back to reading some indies and just having, I've really enjoyed last year that John and I did doing the Omnis and just he and I discussing them. And occasionally we'd have Ryan on if we did a Wonder Woman thing. Yeah, it's a little tough to do the review without somebody bouncing stuff off. Not that anybody really watches. I say that I want to get back to doing the indie show. Not that a ton of people watch them, but I just want to get back to reading stuff on a consistent basis and adding to my indie knowledge and indie reading and So, I mean, I've thought about trying to see if I could get somebody to just do it with me and do one a month, and maybe that's the route I should go. I'm gonna just do one person, but I know there's different stories, have different people, so maybe that's what I should do. Is just look for one person to join me on a consistent basis, and then we just do one thing and go from there. That may be the way to do it. I'm thinking about this out loud right now, so we'll see. We'll see where we're at, but look for more indie discussions going forward. So, yeah, because they don't get a ton of views. Nerdy Geek, yeah, they don't get a ton of views, and that's fine. But that's fine. I'm not worried about that. It's for me as much as anything, and the whole point is to get a chance to talk about these things with my friends and other people in the comic community. So, but yeah, that's my pretty good stack. I think. What do I have coming that's in that other order? I know Chariot is in that other order. That's one that's been sitting on my list for a while. Lazarus, the first 2 volumes, I think. Yes, it totally is. Hey, nobody claimed I was good at this at this YouTube thing. Nobody. I never claimed to be like, well, this is well produced, or this is the whatever report. I talk randomly, Greg. So if you saw something in that stack you want to read with me and talk about, let me know, and we'll do it. So I don't have. I'm trying to think about it. I don't have any. Is there a remender in? I don't know that we were doing nothing can go wrong. Not on this channel, baby. It's all exactly as I planned it. I don't know that I have a remender in any of this. I was gonna do. They were on my list, but Sacrificers is still coming out, and they haven't produced any deluxe editions yet. And Seasons was the other one that I was thinking about. And then what was it? There was like 3 reminders that I looked at, but I don't think I actually ordered any of them yet. Grommets. There is a reminder coming. Grommets was the other like single volume that I have coming. So Chariot, Grommets, and then obviously Rare Flavors are like the single volumes that I have. It's about to wrap up. Which one? Sacrificers or I haven't grabbed any of those yet. That was not on my list, but so we'll see. But yeah, if you're interested in Rare Flavors or Local Man or Once in Future or Department of Truth, any of those are sitting there that I'm going to do. Yeah, so Grommets will be whenever my Insect Trades order comes in. So, Sacrifices. Sweet. Because that's one that's been on my list, but I was kind of just waiting to grab it till it was kind of done. Remember, it's always a good choice, yes. So, John, you didn't comment when I brought up this, that I want to talk about this soon. You didn't even comment. I'm sure disappointed in you that I brought up Local Man, and you were just like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. So, I would like to chat about. You like to chat about Local Man? Okay. Well, maybe we can talk about maybe trying to do something. I'll reach out to you, Greg. We'll see something. Maybe I'll do it next instead of Rare Flavors. Love, not even like, love. He wasn't even trying to type like. He was love to chat about. Okay. Well, we'll see. So it's definitely at the top of my list because I've had it for a little while and I haven't got to it. And this goofy guy has raved about it. He's raved about it. So, and it's definitely on my list. Yeah, you missed most of my stack that are my indies that I want to go through and talk about. My indies that came in. So, Local Man I've had, but I picked up. Then you missed this, John. I got a new Omni that, I got the volume 2 of the New Avengers by Bendis that we talked about volume 1 last year. I got that, and then the other new Omnis I got. Well, this wasn't new. I've had this. We got to talk about this at some point. I know you're into that. But the new ones that I got were The Good Asian, Once in Future, and both volumes of Once in Future. So those came in today. So Tony Flex crushed that one. Which one is Tony Flex? Oh, is that the Local Man? Yeah. That's right. Which one is Tony Flex? That's right. Local Man. All right. So those are things that came in and things I want to do, trying to do the indie show. That is volume 2 of the Deluxe edition. Yes, I had it. I got it last year, and then I never like scheduled anything with us. I've had it for like, I want to say it's like last June or something. I forget when I actually bought those, but it's been sitting there for a while. And then I didn't do any indie shows last year. I got out of the, because of scheduling and everything else. I didn't do any. So yeah, so this will be issues 13 through 24. So yeah, so volumes 3 and 4, and second volume of the. Oh, did you? Yeah, The Good Asian. That's been on my list for a while. The Good Asian has been on my list for a while. I've heard really good things, so it's going to come through. And like I said, I got my in-stock trade orders has Lazarus, which has been on my list forever. I think the first 2 deluxe editions of that. I think there's 4 total, and then I got Chariot and Grommets. I think is what's coming in that. I'm up for that. So, for sure. All right. Other things we're talking about reading. Let's just shift. We'll make the full shift. This week, my book reading slowed down a little bit. It took me a little while to get through this, but I read. I did the little 2-minute review on TikTok and stuff. The Baddest Man: The Making of Mike Tyson. This was really interesting. It was. I read it, but had to get the version. Oh, nice. I have not read it yet. So, this was. So, as a kid of the 80s, early 90s, I remember, like, the first time I ever remember, like, watching a fight on any kind of pay-per-view. Went over to some friends. Their family was getting it. Like, God, I would have been, what was it, 88? So I would have been 10. And it was Tyson Spinks. And this basically takes you from his childhood through the Spinks fight. So the Michael Spinks fight, which is the height. That's when he was as big as he could possibly get. And it's really about, it's not just a biography of Tyson, but it's as much about all the people around him. It's about the people in the neighborhood he grew up in. It's about, like, including like the gangsters on the corner. It's about the people like that were in the juvenile detention facilities that like helped him on the way. It's so Buster Douglas is mentioned, but it really doesn't. He's not one it focuses on. They really talk about. And they don't really give much background, but the big bad that shows up as kind of like that shows up as somebody that, like, in the background that keeps showing up at all these things is Holyfield. Like, Holyfield is the one that like keeps showing up. Like, Douglas has mentioned that really, like, at one point he would have fought him earlier if Douglas had beat somebody else, and he didn't. But he lost, so Tyson fought the other guy. But this is as much about like Cus D'Amato and like his previous fighters and how Cus. Like, early in the book, it talks a lot about like how Cus's framework for how he thought about boxing as a whole in the industry and the mob connections. And we get background on Teddy Atlas. We get background on Kevin Rooney. We get background on Jacobs, who's was his first manager. Of course, Don King makes a lot of appearances in here. And we get a lot of background on Don King and how he came to be what he was in terms of controlling so much of boxing. We get background on the guys working at HBO and like that contract. And obviously we get through the marriage to Robin Givens and background on her and her mom and the role they play. So it's a lot about it's as much about the people that were around him that took him from this little boy to the baddest man on earth. And like, I wish it had kept going. Like, I wish we'd have like told the rest of the story, but it takes you to the climax. And it, like, he's at the top of the world. He just knocked out Michael Spinks, but you already see everything that's going to lead to its downfall is already in place. And these people, Cus D'Amato and all of these people that were around him, there's no doubt they probably saved his life. Hey, Blue Collar Dan, what's going on, sir? There's no doubt that those people that were around him are probably the only reason Mike Tyson is alive. Having said that, every one of them used him, and that include in his home situation as a little boy was just as bad as you can possibly imagine it to be. So it was a fascinating read. It was really well done. I say that, and I also will complain a little bit because it does jump around so much. Because you're 1 minute you're reading about Tyson, and then you're back in the 50s reading about some boxer that was part of Customato's stable, but it all connects back around. So it's a little bit of it was an interesting way to tell this story. And like I said, I do wish it had went further with him, but I know he's got 2 biographies out there that are pretty well thought of, although those are completely from his voice. And this guy even talks about Tyson's version of something and Teddy Atlas's version of that same event, and then other people that were immediately there, their version of that event. So, he talks about how they remember it and tell the story, Robin Givens' version of stuff that happened and that she wrote later in her book. And then he's like, well, that's fine. That's the kind of the accepted version, except this happened 3 days before this happened. They could not have happened the way it happened and stuff. So, I found it fascinating. So it was an excellent read. So that's my second nonfiction of 2026 already. I am currently into the third and final book of the Greenbone Saga, Jade Legacy. If you guys have been paying attention, I absolutely loved Jade City and Jade War, the first 2 books. We're into the final book here. I literally started it last night, and I didn't read very much last night. I read a little bit this morning, but yeah, that series has been great. I have loved it. Otherwise, comic-wise, I haven't really read anything. Obviously, I read Old Guard. I've been reading John and I are going to talk about New Teen Titans, Volume 1 Omnibus, sometime in early February. I didn't show it off, but I did, you guys, I got Legos for the first time for Christmas. We did do the Luffy Brickhead last week. We have almost finished with the big set that my family got me, which was the Going Merry from One Piece. It's over there. It's not done yet. I only have 1 more bag, but you guys will probably start seeing it in the background. Although I don't know if I can get it in here to fit. We'll see. Because I was going to set it right here on my One Piece shelf. But I've gotten 4 of the 5 Lego figures done. So we got a little Luffy. We got my man Luffy just hanging out with a straw hat, and we got Usopp with a slingshot, and we got Sanji with his hair covering one of his eyes. Of course, gotta have the. I can't see the one eye for sure. I want to turn it a little more, but then you can see his eyes. It's got to be right there. And then, of course, and he does have an alternate where you got the green hair and stuff. But we got Zoro with all 3 swords. We put him with all 3 swords. So we got some Lego minifigs in the background here. John will appreciate that. I had avoided Legos because I knew it was a slippery slope. I'd avoided them, but my family got me One Piece Legos for Christmas, and the Going Merry is almost complete, but you guys will see it next week, and I'll probably start. I think I can get it in here. I think I can get it to where it was set right here, but we'll see. It's kind of it's taller. It's almost. I'm afraid it's almost the mast is almost too tall. We'll see. It may have to set up top. I may have to put it up top, and Barbara may have to get moved. We'll see. We'll see how it works. So that is. So those are what we're reading, what we're doing. What else we got here? Oh, let's talk a little nerd news. Before we do the so I will freely admit. Hang on, I need a drink of water. I saw John did his movie thing today. And I will say, of the movies, I am most pumped for Supergirl. Like, of the Marvel DC stuff, I'm most pumped for Supergirl. I read that Tom King Woman of Tomorrow. I trust James Gunn. Like, I remember Millie Alcock from House of Dragon. I'm super pumped for that. I'm more pumped for that than Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man. I'm a little bit like, oh. But I didn't enjoy No Way Home the way everybody else did. I thought it was a mess. But anyway, and we'll see. My fear with Doomsday is there's just too many people in it. It's just too overwhelmed. But we did get a trailer this week for a movie that 2 weeks ago, or 7 days ago, you could not have paid me. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, nerdy. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, my expectations, I'm trying to like have reasonable expectations when I go in, but I am super hyped for that one. And last Saturday when I did this, I don't think you could have paid me to go see the new Masters of the Universe movie. I watched the trailer this week. I was pleasantly surprised by that trailer. Now, I probably still won't see it in the theater. Let's be real. Unless I just hear like huge rave reviews that this is just the best thing ever. I don't see any way that I go and see that. Like, I was a huge Masters of the Universe. I had a ton of the toys. I was big into that cartoon and stuff when I was a little kid. But I say that with the follow-up of, and John talked about this, I think, this morning when he was talking about the thing. Like, this show had no plot. It was just like cool dudes fighting. The power of Grayskull. I have the power. Yes. Hey, Gordon, what's going on? Now, I will say, I thought the trailer made that movie look as good as they possibly could have made it movie look with the trailer. Having said all that, the fact that he is like, the Earth stuff is that they sent him to Earth to like protect him until he was older, kind of thing. And now they're coming back to get him and they take him back to Eternia. My fear is still what I saw when I saw that they were on the streets of like New York or whatever the heck it's supposed to be. That the end of the movie is going to be Skeletor and Trapjaw and Beastman running around in New York City, like tearing up New York City, instead of like something on Eternia. Like the Earth part is just, and I'm just like, that's going to become a clusterfuck. So I still think it's going to be a cluster. I still think there's like a minuscule chance that it's actually good, but I was impressed by the trailer. I thought they did a good job with the trailer. So that's part of my nerd news. The other thing is, what we're watching. I actually did watch something this week. I know almost never do the what are we watching. I did watch the first episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The Duncan Egg stories that they're making into a show. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I have not read that book, but I know kind of what the book is. I know some people were complaining because it's kind of it's a much smaller story than the other Game of Thrones stuff. And obviously the little, are they looking for the cosmic key? I have no idea what they're looking for. I just thought the trailer was as well made as they could have made. They made that trailer actually make me think I might watch this, which is like if you told me, like I said 7 days ago, I would have told you I would never watch it at home. Nothing. There was no chance of me ever watching that Masters of the Universe movie. But I enjoyed Duncan. I enjoyed A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Saw the kind of preview for the season. I think it could be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a much smaller story. I'm okay with that. So I enjoyed the first episode. Obviously, the little scene at the beginning that a lot of people were coming about, completely unnecessary. But the rest of it I thought was really well done. So this sums it up. Well, you're not. I mean, they're not going to put him on like huge steroids or whatever. But I'm not worried about like how muscle bound he is. That doesn't bother me in terms of that. I thought it looked pretty good. Like in terms of the visuals, looked pretty good. I mean, it does also still have Jared Leto in the movie, so it's Skeletor. Like, so I think somebody joked that he actually like melted his skin off his face so that he could get in because he's a method actor. So, I mean, I still think it's going to be terrible. Like, let's be real. I think it's going to be bad, but the fact of they put together a pretty good trailer. I was impressed. I was impressed by the trailer. BDs, I don't think that will happen. Night of the Seven Kingdoms was good. Dolph Lundgren has a cameo. Does he have a cameo? Okay. I mean, I think I've seen the Dolph Lundgren version, but God, it's been forever ago, and I remember being like it was terrible. So that doesn't really bother me anyway. But yeah, I have a hard time believing that it can be good. I have a hard time believing that can be good. The He-Man thing, not the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm down for Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm watching that. That's going to be a watch. I got several things I might actually watch coming up. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. New season of Shrinking comes out here at the end of the month. Next month we got One Piece season 2 and I don't know when season 3 is coming, but on Netflix. So yeah, I actually got some shows that I might force myself to actually watch some TV. I know that's like rare. I never watch TV, but yeah, we might actually get that done this time. So, what else? Talked about my book, giveaways for the members. I talked about that. I'm going to give away Old Guard. I'm going to give away the December giveaway again. I'm going to re-roll it since Daymare's rolled it back in. So yeah, you'll get 2 volumes of Old Guard plus issue number 1 of Old Guard. I read it, enjoyed it, so I thought, well, I'll pass those on, and I upgraded to a hard copy. So with that, I think we're ready for however this goes, whatever you guys want to talk about. So you guys got anything else you want to touch base on? I did not mention, or no, I did mention early on that I'll be on stuff coming up. I'll be over on John's channel on February 3rd. Not this coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, talking. So if you guys want some entertainment, Seahawks games should be really loud. They're still not loud as us, and their stadium was built to be loud. I hope so. I would love to see a really good Nightwing movie. So February 3rd, so not this coming Tuesday, Tuesday after, I will be over on No Good Comics channel with John, talking Uncanny X-Men 201, and I will get to both barrels unload on Cyclops. So if you're waiting for me, like I go in that channel all the time, I make side comments about Cyclops. I'm going to finally get the opportunity to lay out why I think he's one of the worst X-Men characters. And their worst leader of the leaders that you think of, he's the worst one. Although I will say, having watched Omni X-Men over the last few years, Chuck might actually be worse than Scott. It pains me to admit that, but both of them suck. Let's be real. And so you guys will get a chance to see that over on No Good Comics channel on February 3rd. We should be advertising the crap out of that because there's going to be no holding back. I will say, I do play it up a little bit to just be like, just a little reduced glare, a little bit. Like what I think, obviously in John's chat and Justin's chat, I play it up a little bit, but the true thoughts on that character and the fact that I do not understand why anybody likes that character. I can't do it. I don't understand it. And we get to see totally in character some of his worst moments in this issue. So I'm picking an issue where he comes off well, but I would argue every single thing that he does is completely within the normal range of what he does, how he behaves all the time anyway. So so that should be fun. So yeah, Justin's not in here. John's in here, or he was in here. He's probably not in here now. But yeah, so February 3rd, they should be advertising the crap out of that because it's going down. I'm burning it to the ground. It's I didn't say Wolverine should be in charge. I did not say Wolverine should be in charge. I said Scott is a terrible leader. Don't tell me that he's strategic, because having a strategic in battle good mind is useful for a leader, but it's not leadership. And anyway, we'll talk about it. We're saving it. We are saving it for John, but it's all coming out. Like Justin made a comment about, well, we couldn't go as long as what they did on 200. They went like 2.5 hours. Oh, you wait. I am unloading the full clip, baby. Like it's all coming out. Everything I despise about that character, I'm selling it right now. You want to hear a JP rant? Hour plus solid. We're gonna rant. It's gonna be fun. I'm so silly. I'm ridiculous. I really am. There's no doubt about it. I might. Okay. I have an option. So, hey, he remains. The man, again, he says I need to give him producer credit. I don't know how to do that, but it was his request as a Nightwing tier member. He gets the opportunity to provide input on my Let's Collect videos. And yeah, he requested the question. He got the question. So we did question this Wednesday or Thursday. So yeah, so I mention it every time. So I guess you've changed your channel name to like, it's no longer He Remains, but I'm going to keep referring to you as that. So until you tell me not to. Do I think Magneto is a better leader? Ooh, that's a good question. We'll save that. You send that to John to ask me, and we'll talk about that in a second. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you got something out of it. You have no idea how that happened. Okay. Interesting. So you might. There's a place in there that you can go in and change your channel name. I don't know if you did something or what, but you ought to be able to change it back. So, with that though, you've jumped in here though. We're 40-something minutes in, so we're into the whatever you guys want to talk about. So I'm kind of wrapping this up. I showed off my haul. I got some new hardcovers. I got a new Omni and some indie hardcovers that I got. I gave him a book review. We were over on John's channel earlier tonight. I talked about what we did this week. He remains. So yeah, I have already shouted out channel members. We'll do that again real quick. I need to get He Remains off there though. While I do that, so big shout out to those folks. Giveaway next week. We will be re-rolling the Batman and Robin trade for my channel members because Daymare's decided, upside down, that he did not need that book, that he had won enough, that he was going to pass it on to somebody else. And then the new giveaway for January will be the first 2 volumes of Old Guard plus issue number 1, which was worth quite a bit when the first movie came out. No, not so much, but so. I haven't done any of the DC Finest, Ryan. I tend to do, most of my stuff has been deluxe edition hardcovers for like single stories like Hush and Year One and that kind of stuff. I don't usually do the absolute versions because they're so big. I usually do the deluxe editions of like if it's a small story, and then I do the Omnis. And I haven't really done the DC Finest stuff. Like there's some DC Finest that they haven't produced in omnibus form that I wouldn't mind liking, but I haven't gotten any. So could be. I think he might have already read it, or he just wasn't super interested in it. One of the two. I don't remember exactly. He didn't really say. So I got my first DC Finest. Just ordered 2 more. Okay, aren't they paperbacks or soft cover? I should say soft covers. I think they're soft covers. So yeah. So I've been kind of on the Omni hardcover kind of kick, but we'll see. I have one DC Omni, I think, coming in my in-stock trade orders, but I think everything else is indies this time. So, yeah, they are softcover. Okay. Yeah, I've been mostly doing hardcover stuff. I'm a big fan of the hardcovers. Although there are definitely some volumes that aren't in Omni form that I wouldn't mind getting that I wouldn't mind having to read that maybe we'd get in DC Finest. I haven't really looked at all the DC Finest. I probably should. Because there's probably some volumes that I haven't been able to get that I need to be able to get. So, or that I'd like to be able to get. All right. Well, gang, unless you guys got something else, I think we're gonna wrap this up. It's 9:30 almost, a little later than we started late because we ran long over on John's channel. So even though we're only at a little over 45 minutes, yes, library. That's the goal. That's the goal. Be an official library. Yeah, there it is. He Remains 22. Yeah, it's back. It's back. There you go. Free your mind and the rest will follow. It's a computer. They do weird stuff sometimes. We all are like, I don't know how that happened. I mean, last night on Ryan's channel, like he did the thing. He was doing one of the giveaways, and he was like, "You have to be subscribed to Joel the Geek and Tony was to win the giveaway." And I was like, "Well, I'm 99 point. I know I'm subscribed to both, but I clicked on Joel's link, and I wasn't. I'm like, I know I subscribed to Joel before. I was like, I'm 100%. I remember his videos popping up in my subscription stream. I remember seeing his stuff pop up, although I hadn't seen it for a while. And I was like, so I had to resubscribe to Joel. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't remember. I would not have purposefully unsubscribed from Joel, but I'm like, I know I subscribed to Joel because I was on with Joel a couple years ago with John on his channel at some point, and like I know I was subscribed then. So I don't know what happened, but I'm glad he got 32 people. So he got me back. I don't know how I was not. So well, I would not know. I would not know. I would not know. So is that the Apollo stuff? I think that's the Apollo stuff, right? The Apollo show about the Apollo missions for all mankind. I have not watched those. It's one of many things that are on my list that I haven't watched. I'm really bad about watching TV shows. The fact that I actually watched the first episode. It's based on an alternate timeline now. I did not know that. Okay. I thought it was more of a like actual thing. But anyway, the fact that I actually watched the first episode of A Night of Seven Kingdoms the week it came out, like applause for me, because that never happens. Apple does put out some great stuff. They absolutely do. I keep saying, because I finished that book series, the Silo book series, which is Wool, Shift, and Dust. I keep saying I'm going to go watch. The lady at work that read that with me, she's watched it. I keep saying I'm going to go watch Silo on Apple. Plus, it's got Rebecca Ferguson in it, which, hello, yes, please, more Rebecca Ferguson. But Lena was killed. Oh, interesting. Okay. And I just never got around to it. So, okay, I'll have to check it out. I'll put it on the list. It's a really long list, and I'm really way far behind. And I got, but maybe I'll get like hooked back into some TV stuff because I'm going to watch The Night of Seven Kingdoms. I'm definitely going to watch season 3 of Shrinking. which starts, and that's on Apple Plus here next week. And I'm definitely going to watch One Piece season 2. So I got some shows that I definitely want to watch. So maybe it'll get me back in the habit of like steadily watching some stuff. Well, my Chiefs are out of it. The Chiefs are out. So yeah, Tony's team is still playing, but they'll be done. So we'll be playing D&D tomorrow. So all right, gang, I'm gonna wrap it right there. We're at 50 minutes. That's a pretty good stream. Next week you'll probably see it in my background this week, but next week we'll talk about I'll show off my first full Lego build. Now that I'm into Legos, thanks to my niece and nephew. I am like 9/10 of the way done with it. It's sitting right over there. It's out of sight, but it's pretty cool. I knew this was going to happen. They bought me Legos, and now I want more. It's like, damn it! Now I want more. Oh well, we'll survive. All right, gang. She says later, and so we're gonna get with that. We're gonna get out of here. We will. I hope you guys have the good rest of your weekend. Hope you stay warm if you're in the part of the country that's getting hit by this winter storm. Super cold here. We didn't get the snow. We were supposed to get like 8 to 12 inches. When I came downstairs, we had like a dusting. So we'll see. Maybe I've gotten some in the last couple hours while I was on here and on John's channel. But hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and great week next week. And with that, we'll catch you later.